Hello friends. Imagine you are a nurse from Haiti. You have been working the night shift at a hospital in Florida for the past 2 years. Your work permit is taped inside your kitchen cabinet, right next to your daughter's school schedule. You have not thought about that permit in months, because it was valid, it was legal, and your employer already had a copy on file. Then one morning, your supervisor calls you into her office. She has a printout from USCIS in her hand. She tells you the date on your work permit may no longer be valid. Not because you did anything wrong. Not because your case changed. But because the government changed the date on paper, twice, within about 10 days. You are not alone. Right now, hundreds of thousands of people across the United States are living through exactly this kind of confusion. But here is what most people still do not realize. This is not a rumor. This is not a prediction. This is happening right now, in July of 2026, to real workers, real families, and real employers who are struggling to keep up. Let's slow down and explain exactly what is going on. This story centers on temporary protected status, often shortened to TPS. TPS is a humanitarian protection. It allows people from certain countries, places facing war, natural disaster, or extreme instability, to live and work legally in the United States, even without a green card. For years, TPS has quietly supported entire communities. Nurses, construction workers, warehouse employees, parents raising children born right here in America. 7 countries are now at the center of this situation. Burma, also known as Myanmar, Ethiopia, Somalia, South Sudan, Syria, Yemen, and Haiti. Here is why this moment matters so much. On June 25, 2026, the United States Supreme Court issued a ruling in a case known as Mullin versus Doe. In that decision, the court said the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, does have the authority to end TPS protections for Haiti and Syria. This ruling did not instantly cancel work permits. Instead, it sent the case back down to the lower courts, giving them time to issue what is called an implementing order. That process typically takes around 32 days. So what did USCIS do while waiting for that order? They began issuing short-term placeholder extensions. Emphasis on the word placeholder. On July 1, USCIS said work permits for these 7 countries would remain valid through July 10. Then, just before that date arrived, they issued new guidance. Now, 6 of those countries, Burma, Ethiopia, Somalia, South Sudan, Syria, and Yemen, have permits listed as valid through July 17. Haiti, because of a slightly different legal timeline, has been extended through July 24. This is where many people make a mistake. They assume once a date is announced, it is final. It is not. These dates have already shifted more than once in a matter of days. Immigration attorneys are openly telling clients, do not assume July 17 or July 24 is the real end date. It could be extended again. It could also not be extended at all. Let's talk about why this uncertainty is so disruptive, not just for the workers themselves, but for their employers. Under federal law, every employer in the United States must verify that their employees are authorized to work. This is done through a document called Form I-9. When an employee's work authorization has an expiration date, employers are required to re-verify that authorization before it lapses. Normally, this is simple. You look at the card. You see the date. You confirm it is still valid. But right now, USCIS is telling employers to do something unusual. For employees affected by this TPS situation, employers are being told to write the phrase, quote, as per court order, unquote, in the expiration field on the I-9, and then note the new placeholder date, July 17, or July 24 for Haitian workers, in the additional information section. This might sound like a small paperwork detail. It is not. This is not just a recommendation. In some cases, it is federal law tied directly to employment eligibility. If an employer gets this wrong, either by wrongly terminating an employee whose permit is still legally valid under a court order, or by failing to properly re-verify someone whose authorization has genuinely expired, that employer can face serious legal and financial consequences. And for the worker, the stakes are even more personal. If your employer misunderstands this guidance, you could be told you are no longer authorized to work, even if, legally, you still are. That is a devastating position to be in. Lost income. Lost health insurance. In some households, lost ability to pay rent or support children, all because of confusion around a date that keeps moving. Let's pause here for a moment, because this next part is important to understand clearly. These placeholder extensions do not mean TPS has been restored or guaranteed long-term. The Supreme Court's ruling was a significant legal win for the government's position, allowing termination efforts to move forward. What we are seeing now is essentially a holding pattern, a temporary bridge, while lower courts formally process what the Supreme Court already decided. Massachusetts Attorney General Andrea Campbell said publicly, following the ruling, that although the Supreme Court's decision allows the federal government to terminate TPS protections for Haiti and Syria, current designations and work authorizations remain in effect until the Supreme Court sends a certified judgment down to the lower court, and the administration issues formal implementation guidance. In plain language, the legal process is still moving, even if it feels invisible from the outside. So what should you actually do if you, or someone in your family, holds TPS from one of these 7 countries? First, do not rely on second-hand information, social media posts, or rumors from friends. Go directly to the USCIS website and check the official TPS country-specific page for the most current guidance. These pages are being updated frequently, sometimes within days of each other. Second, if you are employed, talk to your employer's human resources department now, not after a deadline passes. Many employers are just as confused as employees are. A calm, early conversation, supported by official USCIS documentation, can prevent panic-driven mistakes on both sides. Third, keep physical and digital copies of every official notice tied to your case. This includes your TPS country designation page, any employment authorization document, and any court order references. If your status is ever questioned, having clear documentation ready can make an enormous difference. Fourth, and this is critical, consult with a qualified immigration attorney if you can. Every person's situation is different. Someone with an older TPS grant may face a different set of options than someone with a more recent designation. Some individuals may qualify for other forms of relief entirely, based on marriage, asylum eligibility, employment sponsorship, or time spent in the United States. A licensed attorney can help you understand your specific path forward, rather than relying on general information alone. Let's bring this all together with a quick recap, because this story has a lot of moving parts. The Supreme Court ruled that DHS has the authority to terminate TPS for Haiti and Syria. That ruling sent the case back to lower courts for implementation, a process that takes time. While waiting, USCIS has issued short-term placeholder work permit extensions for 7 countries: Burma, Ethiopia, Somalia, South Sudan, Syria, Yemen, and Haiti. 6 of those countries now have permits marked valid through July 17. Haiti's extension runs through July 24. These dates have already changed and could change again. Employers must use special I-9 instructions during this period. And workers affected by this situation should act early, stay informed through official channels, and seek professional legal guidance if their case is complex. This is a fast-moving story, and it is affecting real people in real time, not in some distant, abstract way. It is affecting nurses, delivery drivers, teachers, factory workers, and parents who simply want stability for their families. If you or someone you know may be impacted by these TPS deadlines, do not wait until the date arrives to figure out what it means. Check official USCIS sources regularly. Talk to your employer early. And if your case feels uncertain, reach out to a licensed immigration attorney who can walk through your specific situation with you. Share this video with anyone you know from Haiti, Syria, Burma, Ethiopia, Somalia, South Sudan, or Yemen who may be affected. In moments like this, accurate information can make a real difference in someone's life. And if you want to stay ahead of changes like this one, changes that can shift within days and affect your work, your travel, and your future in the United States, subscribe to this channel. We are here to break down complicated immigration news clearly, honestly, and without unnecessary panic, so you always know exactly where you stand.